Hi there, it's Mary Schiller, author and coach of MarySchiller.com. I help great coaches like you make great money. I'm really happy to have you joining me for this talk. This is all about how to get off the income roller coaster because that is no fun. It's dizzying and it's sickening and it makes us feel horrible and we don't like it. So we want to get off that roller coaster. Now, as a quick aside, I do happen to love roller coasters, like the real kind, although as I've gotten older, definitely I've had to take some Dramamine in order to enjoy them. But that is not the kind of roller coaster we're talking about right now. So if you are finding yourself in this up and down, up and down, up and down cycle of your income from your coaching business, then this talk is for you. This is part two. In part one, we talked about how to improve your marketing in some really simple ways so that you're constantly bringing in people who are interested in what you're doing. In this talk number two, we're going to talk about offers. And this is a really, really important topic, one that gosh, I just have so much to say, but I'm going to condense it into 25 or 30 minutes. And if you have questions, I will take them at the end, but don't hesitate to post them in the comments. Yesterday, I had a little trouble seeing people's comments, so I'm going to just talk and then look to see what comments people have. Let's see if I can just check one thing really quickly here. So maybe I can see, oh, I see Heather has left a comment. I'm having to check on my phone because I can't see it on here. But in any case, if you're joining me live, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. I so appreciate it. If you're watching this on the replay, feel free to post comments and questions. I will definitely be checking back afterwards. And I so thank you for taking some time to watch wherever you happen to be watching this video. Thank you so much. You know, this topic of offers is so critical. And I think that it's something that people have a lot of mistaken ideas about. So if you have the sense that, your offers are not quite right, or if they're confusing to people, that is definitely not helping you get out of this up and down income cycle. And I think the biggest part of the confusion is what actually is an offer. What is it? Now, normally, if I ask that of someone, they will say, well, my offer is, I provide X number of coaching sessions per month, and it costs X per session. Or if I'm offering more sessions, then I'll give them a discount. We'll talk about pricing in part three, by the way, another big area. But that's what they think the offer is. They think the offer is how they are delivering their services. So if that's how it looks to you, you're not alone, because that's how it looks to a lot of people. They think the offer is, well, it's, 6 coaching calls over 6 weeks for, X number of dollars, euros, pounds. Well, that's actually not what the offer is. The offer itself is actually two things. One is the result. And I'm starting with this point because this is something that I can see in a lot of coaches needs major improvement. So pardon me if I speak very plainly about this. A lot of coaches, and I'm talking mostly about life coaches or who are working in some area. It really could be anything, to be honest. They are nervous about stating a result. They don't want to say, well, at the end of 6 weeks, you will have done blank, or you will have achieved blank, or, fill in that blank with whatever it is. They get very nervous about, promising something like that because they're afraid they can't deliver it. So if that sounds like you, I totally get it. The thing is, though, if you want to get off of that income roller coaster, your result has to be very clearly stated in everything you're doing related to your business, people have to know what it is that you can do for them, and you have to speak their language. Big, big point here. You have to speak their language. So if you are, let's say, a life coach who specializes in helping people to lessen their work-related stress, okay, then that needs to be very clearly stated as a result in your offer. So if you're nervous about saying, I'm going to help you dissolve stress in 6 weeks, because that doesn't seem realistic, there is a way that you can state this that does work. So I'll give you an example of my own, and then I'll break it down for you. So I would say for mine, I would say, I give coaches, that's my audience, a simple plan. Ding, ding, ding. I'm doing flashing red lights around that. A simple plan to kickstart their business so they always know how to generate cash when they need it. So what is the result that I'm promising there? I am promising that I will give them a plan to kickstart their business and help them generate cash when they need it. A plan to do that, a structure, a framework, whatever word you want to use. And that is something that you absolutely can guarantee and promise someone. You may not be able to say that, if you work with me for 6 weeks, you'll never be stressed again. You probably won't be able to say that. But you could say something like, I will provide you with a framework that you can return to again and again anytime you're feeling stressed. And that is a completely legitimate way of phrasing a result. So I'll break down that offer sort of template. And I really want you to think about this. If you want to type something into the comment about how this applies to you and your business, that would be great. So basically, you want to say, I help this person, blank, whoever that is, who have this problem, whatever that is, by giving them blank, like I said, a plan, a system, a framework, something like that, so that they can blank. That last piece is so crucial, so that they can blank. And that has to be really, 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 really concrete. It can't be something like, so that they can feel better every day. Or, it just can't be that vague. And this is where I see a lot of life coaches really struggling. They may offer something that has multiple benefits. I get that, but you have to state something very clearly as a result for your audience, or they will just not listen to you. It has to be something like, maybe you give them a framework or a system for improving their relationships, so that when they feel anger building up, they know what to do and they know how to calm it down. Something like that, so that they can stop arguing with their spouse. So this is crucial because, and you may be asking, well, how does this relate to, this up and down income cycle? Well, I can't stress this enough, that if you are having to spend a lot of time trying to explain to people what it is that you do, that's time that you're not on potential sales conversations. That's time that is being taken up by things that it just doesn't need to be taken up by. You need to nail this description of what you do, and you need to nail what the offer actually is. Another component of the offer, it's not just the result. You may have kind of sensed this from the example I gave, but the offer itself absolutely has to address the problem that somebody is coming to you for, okay? So in my case, it's sort of implied. I could say I help struggling coaches by giving them a plan to kickstart their business and generate cash anytime they need it. Even if I don't have struggling in there, it's implied, because I'm saying okay, I'm giving them a way to kickstart their business, meaning to get something moving, to get things going, to, start some new momentum, to get something happening in their business, get some movement going. That implies that it's been stalled or it's been stuck. And that problem has to be part of the description in your offer. So basically, an offer is the result that you're promising combined with this problem or pain point and expressed in a way that is very concise and easy for people to grasp. I wish I could see comments. I can't. So if you are posting them, I apologize. I'll have to come back later. Let me see if I can check here on my phone and see if anybody has any comments or questions so far. I don't see any. So again, I will come back to this and check for any questions later on. I will also tell you that it is not so easy to boil down what you do into that one sentence. It will take you a few tries. And I also recommend that after you get something that feels comfortable to you, share it with people. See if they get what you do right away. If there's any doubt or confusion when people approach you and see, on your website or in anything that you put out there, if there's any confusion going on over who you help, how you help them, and what result they're going to get, they will walk away. They will absolutely walk away. So, another thing I would recommend that you do, this just came to me now, is go to your homepage of your website if you have a website. If you don't have a website, look at your Facebook page, for example, any place that you are stating an offer of what you do for people. If somebody didn't know what you do, could they get it within about 2 seconds of landing there on your homepage? If they just saw that first part at the top of your page, which, by the way, most people never scroll past. On my system, I use a system called Kartra to use for some pages on my website, including my homepage. And there's something that shows me the scroll rate. Oh, pardon me, that's my phone. It will go off in a second. It shows the scroll rate. And by far, most people stop after that first kind of above the fold, we call it. They won't go any further. So that part has to be really clear. It has to let people know who you serve, how you serve them, and what result they're going to get. And it has to tell them what to do next. It's got to cover a lot of ground in that little bit of space. And if somebody isn't seeing that, it's going to take them a long time to figure out what you do, and they're going to quit. And there you are, going on this roller coaster ride. You just lost someone who might have been a perfect fit for what you do, but they got confused when they got to your website. They couldn't figure out what you were talking about and whether or not they were a good fit to work with you. So offers are so crucial. And I want you, if you take away nothing from this particular video, I want it to be, sorry about the phone ringing, that an offer is not the number of sessions. It's not how you work with people in terms of, one-to-one or is it in a group. Those are descriptions of how you deliver your services. An offer includes the problem that somebody has and how you are going to help them with it and the result that they get from it. So I'll go over that again. It's the person, it's the problem that they have has to be in there. It's what you are going to offer them in terms of some kind of system or, a new way of seeing things, or however you want to phrase it that will resonate with them, that will get them past that problem so that they can blank. Okay, I'm hoping that's making sense. Again, I'm sorry I can't see the comments right now. It's really frustrating if there are some, but I'm hoping that is making sense. Let me just check on my list here of things. Oh, yes. So another reason why I want you to go through this exercise, and I really want you to start paying attention to this, is because if you aren't clear on what it is you're actually offering. That's something that's got to get solved. And I say that with a chuckle, but I actually mean that with all the love I have in my heart, because a lot of the people that I talk to every day aren't exactly clear on what it is they're offering. And so they spend a lot of time trying to do all of this marketing and things, but in the end, they're not sure what it is they're offering people. What is the result? So if you take some time and you go through this exercise and you get clear yourself, first of all, that is going to take you miles down the road in terms of ending this feast or famine income cycle, because you are going to be comfortable talking with people about what you do. You're going to be comfortable doing marketing because you'll know what your messaging needs to be about. You'll be comfortable doing something like a Facebook Live because you now know, okay, this is what I'm talking about. This is the result that I get people. So now I know what topics I can address. Everything is going to get so much clearer for you. You will be amazed. So I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on that. So please let me know if that resonates with you. Another piece I want to discuss in this talk right now about offers is something that I was very fortunate to see early on and correct a mistake that I was making. And that is that many of us coaches think that our offers have to cover point A to point Z. We have to take someone from the absolute beginning to the absolute furthest point we can possibly take them. So we kind of throw everything into the offer that we're making. Now, if you're someone who enjoys working with people over a really long period of time, let's say 12 months or something like that, then maybe you could say, well, I can take them in 12 months from point A to point F or G, let's say. But you can resist the temptation to think that your offer has to include everything in the alphabet. And in fact, I recommend that you don't do that. I recommend that you keep your offers more self-contained and help people to get sort of a quick win working with you. So let me explain what I mean. A few months ago, I made the decision to go back to working with people one-to-one for a while. And I came up with an offer. And the first few people that I offered it to, it was originally an 8-week program with me. It includes an online component, and then they were going to have 8 weeks of one-to-one support from me. And I think I got to like the third or fourth person that I made that offer to, and every single one of them said, you know, I'd really like to see what I can do in 4 weeks. And it wasn't the cost, because I hadn't even said the cost at that point. It had nothing to do with the price. They were like, you know, what could we do in 4 weeks? And it was like these light bulbs went off. And I realized that in the past, I think some of my offers, not all, but some, have been trying to cover too much ground. And I had been overloading people. And I realized that if I focused on a 4-week program that really addressed their major concerns and I helped them to get a result, meaning in my case, they saw some forward movement, they saw a clearing in their business, they saw some steps they could take and they started taking them, that might be their point B. They're starting at point A, which feels like they're very stuck and kind of confused and not sure what to do. And point B is things are happening. They're doing outreach. They may have gotten some paying clients already. They're certainly building an audience and they're creating assets. They're creating marketing assets. They've figured out what their offer is. That could be point B for them. And so that was a real eye-opener to me, because I thought, you know, that allows us to create a stair-step sort of offer where we can do one that goes from point A to point B. If someone wants to continue with us, we can offer them something that then takes them to point C and D and E. It could be that they do something short-term with us that gets them this quick win, this quick momentum, this quick change in whatever field you're coaching people in. And then you decide, you know, I really like working with this person. I'd love to support them for another 6 months. So how could I do that? Then you could offer them something that takes them further down the road. But if you're looking at what you're doing as, you know, I've got to solve this entire problem for them, you know, in one specific offer, you don't have to go there. You can make it more concise. You can make it simpler. You can make it more of a, what do I want to say? Just make it more of a dynamic experience, something that really gives them a little push, you know, and gives them the sense that they have accomplished something, that they have achieved something. So that's a lesson that I have been learning recently, and kind of looking back and looking at the things I've offered in the past that maybe took people too far and they weren't ready for that. And I'm correcting that going forward, absolutely correcting that. Let me see if there is, okay, I see a question here. Hold on a second, maybe. Okay, Sydney has a question about how to offer concisely. So I'm going to go back to the point that I was just making about creating a one-liner related to what you offer. And you may think, you know, why do I need this? Well, there's the old, you know, what's your elevator pitch kind of thing. It's really important to be able to say, when someone asks you, what do you do, to have an answer for them, to have an answer and say, I help blank with this problem, whatever that is, that problem. I give them a framework, system, something, a plan, so that they can blank. And it's just, it makes life so much easier when you have narrowed that down. Now, if you're saying to me, well, Mary, excuse me, I don't have a niche yet. I don't have an audience yet. I don't really know who I'm talking to. I don't know who that person is. Well, I'm going to rewind for a minute, and I'm going to bring you back to 2016 when I first started as a life coach, not a business coach. I started as a life coach. I knew that I had something that was helpful for people to transform their lives, some aspect of their life that wasn't working. And so I tried to frame it like, I'm going to give you a new way of seeing this problem that you're bringing to me, so that that it won't be a daily problem for you anymore. You'll be able to move on from it much, much faster. That's a very kind of not very eloquent way of stating what I did. But that was my audience. It was people who were interested in a specific type of coaching, which is what I was doing, and they had all kinds of problems. And so I thought, well, I can say, I'm giving you a new way of seeing this problem, of solving this problem, so that you won't experience it in the same way, and it won't be a daily concern of yours anymore. And that was as far as I went, but it was enough. It was enough of a statement that people started showing up. And I want to say this about a niche audience as well. For me, I continued to kind of go down that road, and eventually the audience appeared. The audience that wanted to hear from me started to appear. I didn't choose them. They started to show up because of the way I was talking about what I offered, because of the way I was coming across in my marketing. And I was very consistent, as I talked about in the marketing video in this series. I was very consistent, and I showed up, and I had a similar vein that I was in all the time. My audience started to appear. So it's kind of a chicken and egg, but I feel like there's a point at which trying to decide what your niche is wasting time as well. And it's more helpful, I think, to nail down what your offer is. And even if you have to have a vague idea of who your person is, if you say women, or you say people in troubled relationships, or you say people who are under stress, that's enough. You don't have to go down this path of trying to figure out what TV shows they watch and how old they are and all of that. That's just way overkill, in my opinion. You don't have to go that far. You can be more general about that and more specific about the result that they are going to achieve if they work with you. So I want to take a couple minutes. I'm sorry I can't see any questions or comments here. Again, I will come back and check. I want to go over again what I have talked about in this video. We're talking about getting off this income roller coaster. And a big piece of it is the offer that you are making or offers. I would suggest just generally, the fewer things you have on offer, the easier it is, because you can focus on marketing and selling one or two things. Whereas if you start to build up lots and lots of different services and all of that, it gets very confusing. And that's going to get confusing in your marketing. And that's going to, again, contribute to this feast or famine thing, because you're not going to know where to look. With an offer, you want to be very clear about what problem you are addressing and what result you promise. It's not about the services piece, how it's being delivered. It's about the result and the problem that it solves. Keep in mind this phrase, even if it's something as simple as, I help people with blank problem by giving them blank so that they can blank, so that they can blank. That's a big part of what I see is missing. I want you to really look at how concisely you can describe what you offer to people. And bonus points if right now you go to your website and start to correct this, because I'm betting that if you're watching this, your website is not conveying that very well. It's talking more about you perhaps than it is about the person who is landing there, because that's something that I see. And an offer isn't about you. It's about what you can do for the person who is landing on your site and is looking for help. The quicker you can solve these kinds of issues, the quicker you will build up a waiting list for your coaching services, and you won't have to worry about this up and down cycle again. It just won't be an issue, because you'll have a constant stream of people who understand what you do, who recognize them in your marketing, who recognize them in themselves in your offerings, and they will be there. They will start to turn up. So I hope that this has been helpful. Please post comments and questions wherever you happen to be watching this video. I'm so glad to have you with me. I have put together a workbook that goes along with this 4-part series that will walk you through various milestones on each one. The first video is about marketing. This one's about offers. The next one, sorry, I've got something in my eye. The next one, part 3, is on pricing. Part 4 is on how to clone yourself by putting some of the things you do online. And that workbook is available at a link that you will find somewhere near this video in the description underneath. Somewhere you will see the link to go and grab your copy of that workbook that I have made fillable, so you can type right into it. So thank you so much for joining me for this talk about how to get off the income roller coaster and how to fix up your offers so that people know what you do, they won't be confused, and you won't have to spend so much time explaining what it is that you do. You'll have a concise explanation. Your offers will reflect exactly what you do. There won't be any questions about that, and it saves so much time in your marketing and sales process if this is nailed down. So thanks so much. I look forward to hearing from you, and have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. Oh, hang on. I just got a bunch of comments. All right, I don't see any questions there. So with that, I will say farewell for now, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks so much. Bye.